Hello guys, welcome to the Alrasta channel to discuss and explain the exciting storyline of your favorite series, SwallowedStar episode 224. In the previous episode, Luofeng and Universe Masters from various factions teamed up to corner Yuanao Master, who was wielding a forbidden weapon in the form of a black divine wood. Getting increasingly backed into a corner by the joint attacks and the involvement of the Black Universe creator, Yuanao Master finally revealed that he possessed a supreme treasure, the Qingfeng realm map left behind by the true god entity, Xuanyuan. This revelation instantly triggered the greed of the major factions present. In a desperate attempt to escape, Yuanao Master tore the map into tiny fragments and scattered them into space as bait. This immediately sparked a fierce scramble. Luofeng quickly managed to snatch some map fragments using his domain technique, even though he had to fight a tough battle against the Flame Emperor. In the end, the captured and severely injured Yuanao Master chose to blow himself up, creating a massive explosion that obliterated the surrounding area. Then, the fight for the map fragments sparked a new tension when Skywolf Master and Flame Emperor formed a temporary alliance to snatch the remaining large map fragments right in front of Luofeng and Ice Summit Master. So, what happens next? Alright, without further ado, let's jump straight into the story. To get their hands on two large fragments of the Pulling Traces diagram, the clash between the human race and the Flame Emperor, who was backed by Skywolf Master, finally broke out. At the start of the fight, we see the Flame Emperor launching a thrusting attack with his halberd. However, his movements were slowed down by the power of Ice Summit Master's Cold Mist World domain. Even though the Flame Emperor managed to melt the ice on his body using his fire power, he was quickly frozen again and sent flying by a sword slash from Ice Summit Master. Meanwhile, Luofeng was up against Skywolf Master, whose body also seemed to slow down thanks to the Cold Mist World domain combined with the Nine Tiger River. When their two powerful attacks collided, Skywolf Master was shocked by Luofeng's physical strength. He never expected that the human he used to be able to kill with just one finger had now grown to be so insanely strong. Sick of Luofeng's arrogance, Skywolf pulled out the trump card he had prepared, a domain treasure. The moment the domain treasure's power activated, Luofeng was instantly blasted far backward. It wasn't just the domain power from Skywolf Master. The Flame Emperor also brought out his treasure called the Flame God Halberd. The combined power of these two treasures pushed back against the human race faction's domain power, slowly forcing them into a retreat. From her gathered information, Babata explained that Skywolf Master's domain treasure was called the Dream Ancestor Domain, a legendary pinnacle domain-type true treasure belonging to the Dream Demon Ancestor, one of the two true gods of the demon race. Babata didn't know how Skywolf Master managed to borrow such a treasure. However, according to the novel version, the treasure was intentionally lent to Skywolf Master to complete the mission of defeating Yuanao Master. But seeing so many factions involved, he was waiting for the perfect moment to unleash it. Not long after, Babata also received intel that the Dream Demon Ancestor was rushing over to help Skywolf Master. She immediately warned Luofeng that if he didn't wrap this mission up fast, he would be in serious danger. Shortly after, through telepathic communication, Ice Summit Master told Luofeng that if they pushed themselves too hard against the power of the Dream Ancestor domain, they clearly wouldn't be able to win. Even though the map fragments were valuable, they were just pieces that were already scattered across many factions. Ice Summit Master suggested that Luofeng should just back down, let go of the two map fragments, and focus on finding other treasures dropped by Yuanao Master. Meanwhile, not far from Luofeng, the Black Universe creator had already successfully snagged the Black Divine Wood. After seeing so many Universe Masters from various factions fighting over the loot, the Black Universe creator, who had no interest in joining the fray, decided to just leave the battlefield. Seeing that the Black Universe creator wasn't interfering to grab more treasures, Luofeng agreed with the Ice Summit Master's suggestion. He backed out of the fight, leaving the Flame Emperor and Skywolf Master to compete against each other. In the end, they split the tasks. Luofeng went after a treasure called the Flame Sand Cup, while Ice Summit Master chased after a mace-shaped treasure. In another direction, during his hunt for the map fragments, Nine Remoteness Master spotted Sea Lotus Master competing with the Crystal Race over a shield treasure that used to belong to Yuanao. Seeing this, Nine Remoteness Master expanded his divine body to help Sea Lotus Master and grabbed the shield with his massive hands. Well, the reason Nine Remoteness Master helped her was probably because Sea Lotus Master always obeyed his every command, so they naturally looked out for each other. Meanwhile, Sky Wolf Master finally defeated the Flame Emperor and snatched the two map fragments. Realizing that Luofeng was going after the Flame Sand Cup, Sky Wolf Master quickly chased after him at top speed, claiming that the treasure belonged to the demon race. He even used the Dream Domain again to speed up his movements. Seeing that dog being a little too overconfident with his domain power, Luofeng finally got serious and unleashed his own trump card. He activated his 3-combination technique, Miniature Universe, Golden Country, and 9 Tiger River, to teach his opponent a valuable lesson. The domain battle broke out fiercely as Luofeng's giant Golden River crashed into Sky Wolf Master's Dream Demon Domain. Even though his enemy was super confident in his borrowed weapon's power, the absolute dominance of Luofeng's 3-technique combo proved to be vastly superior. The domain territory that was previously expanding mightily was forced to shrink drastically, trapping Sky Wolf Master like a little dog caught in a massive golden ocean wave, leaving the Black Wolf in absolute shock. The domain treasure he had been so proud of was now completely suppressed. The dominating power of Luofeng's domain technique was even felt by the other Universe Masters present. The Flame Emperor felt it too and finally understood why his master favored Luofeng more than him. Meanwhile, the Flame Sand Cup was finally secured, thanks to Luofeng using his Mosha clone, which had teleportation abilities, to grab the treasure quickly. Here, Luofeng also threw out sharp taunts that made Sky Wolf Master fume with embarrassment, proving he was completely helpless without the extra protection of his borrowed treasure. In fact, if Sky Wolf Master hadn't brought that treasure he was so proud of, Luofeng would have already beaten the dog until he ran away with his tail between his legs. Not long after, the Flame Emperor launched a sneak attack from behind. But calmly, Luofeng activated the Endless Flames technique from the cup treasure, instantly forcing the Flame Emperor to back off. Ultimately, with the death of Yuanao Master, the Ancestral God Sex mission was considered complete. Likewise, Luofeng had also acquired several map fragments and treasures belonging to Yuanao Master. Meanwhile, Ice Summit Master also successfully secured his targeted treasure, which was a top-tier domain-type true treasure. Feeling that he had gained enough, Luofeng mockingly said his goodbyes, stating he couldn't keep the two of them company any longer, and left using Ice Summit Master's teleportation technique. On the other hand, Sky Wolf Master felt his pride trampled by Luofeng's arrogance, but the dog could only grind his teeth in resentment, venting his frustration by releasing blue flames all around him. After Luofeng and Ice Summit Master returned to human territory, they both entered the virtual universe to report to Chaos City Lord that they had successfully obtained 7 fragments of Xuanyuan's pulling traces diagram. Hearing this, his master felt incredibly proud and lucky that the human race had Luofeng. On top of that, what shocked Chaos City Lord even more was that his disciple managed to suppress Sky Wolf Master, who was armed with the Dream Ancestor Domain, and successfully snatched the Flame Sand Cup right in front of him. Seeing Luofeng's achievements, his master felt it was time for him to step up and explore the dangerous territories beyond the original star. It was a region packed with Universe Master fighters, and even true God-level warriors could be found there. Not only did it house powerful fighters, but it also held many rare and precious treasures, especially in the 3 deadliest inner zones that contained many top true treasures. That place was known as the Universe Ocean. Ice Summit Master also explained that compared to the Universe Ocean, the original universe they currently lived in was just a baby's cradle, way too safe for a Universe Master. However, he knew that Luofeng hadn't actually reached the Universe Master level yet, and he was worried that Chaos City Lord's decision was too hasty. But to forge Luofeng into an even stronger warrior, that place was the only solution that could provide him with the next level of experience. Chaos City Lord then revealed a massive secret. The original universe has a life cycle that includes birth, development, weakening, and eventual destruction. This is called the Reincarnation Era, a grand apocalypse where the world basically goes through a hard reset. History notes that this has already happened to the original universe 3 times. Whenever this happens, everything is wiped out, and the humanity born after the previous destruction is just a new sprout growing from the ashes of past generations. At first, Luofeng thought human history was long enough, but when he learned that the civilization they built would vanish into nothingness, and everything he knew would completely disappear in this apocalypse, he was deeply shaken. He questioned whether living beings were simply destined to perish. However, his master offered a glimmer of hope. As long as someone becomes strong enough, they can not only survive the apocalypse but also save their entire race. Realizing the heavy responsibility of being the future pillar of the human race, the power Luofeng wielded was no longer just about himself. It concerned the fate of all humanity. Even though the reincarnation era was still very far away, since it involved the future survival of the human race, Luofeng agreed to head to the Universe Ocean immediately.
去吧，尽快动身，前往宇宙海。
After Luofeng left, Chaos City Lord discussed the incident on the Yuan-Ao continent with Ice Summit Master. The truth was, the ancestral god sect's previous actions weren't aimed at the Black Divine Wood, but rather at Yuan-Ao Master himself, who was considered a threat to the original universe. Even though Yuan-Ao was now dead, the real reason behind the threat to the original universe that triggered the danger signals remained a mystery. However, with everything that had happened, Chaos City Lord hoped that this disaster would just end here and the original universe would stay safe. The scene then shifted to Luofeng's god country. In the end, the virtual universe company rewarded Luofeng with 1,200 treasure points. This made Babata and Atuka incredibly happy, but that joy was nothing compared to the curiosity burning inside Luofeng as he wondered what the Universe Ocean was really like. After his life's adventures gradually took him from exploring Earth, the Ganwu Empire, Primal Chaos City, numerous secret regions, the extraterritorial battlefield, the ancestral god sect, all the way to the original star, Luofeng had finally reached the point where he was about to start his journey into the Universe Ocean. But this time, Luofeng wouldn't be alone because he would be guided by the original body of his master. This time, Chaos City Lord himself would pick Luofeng up at the meeting location. It was well known that his master's original body was always exploring the Universe Ocean and rarely showed itself in the original universe. In fact, compared to his other clones, his master's original body was known to be the strongest, far surpassing the Primal Chaos City body and the Thousand Treasures River body. And the long-awaited moment finally arrived when the Thousand Treasures River appeared following a rift from the space interlayer. There, Luofeng finally came face to face with his master's original body, looking incredibly authoritative in a golden robe and a golden crown. Without much small talk, his master immediately led the journey to the Universe Ocean, using a combination of long-distance teleportation techniques and the Thousand Treasures River, heading straight for the universe's exit gate. Meanwhile, outside the original universe, 3 mysterious figures made of iron and stone were laughing with satisfaction, watching the fighters of the original universe walk right into their trap. It was revealed in a shocking twist that the death of their pawn, Yuan-Ao Master, and the release of his divine wood treasure were part of a sacrificial scenario they had intentionally designed for a grand scheme they were just beginning. Not long after, a being made of lightning arrived, acting as the leader of the 2 previous figures, and ordered that their plan must succeed in one decisive strike. In fact, the ultimate goal of their plan was to save their race from extinction. Well, for anything to be eternal, sacrifices have to be made. Back to Luofeng. Eventually, the 2 of them arrived at the edge of the Toya Black Hole, known as the most powerful and destructive black hole in the entire original universe. His master explained that there were 2 ways to enter the Universe Ocean. The first was to punch straight through the universe's membrane wall. However, this method relied purely on absolute power. Only existences at the true god level had enough combat strength to forcibly tear open the original universe's membrane from any point on the universe's border. And the second path was through the Toya Black Hole. After Luofeng entered the outer layer of the black hole, he could see the core of the Toya Black Hole in its inner layer. Before completely going in, the Primal Chaos City leader warned Luofeng that the Universe Ocean lay right behind it, housing the 3 deadliest regions, the Tilted Peak Realm, the Universe Boat, and the flowing overlapping mountains. After entering the core of the Toya Black Hole, Luofeng experienced the usual phenomena there. Soon after, he felt the oppressive aura of chaotic currents with an extremely high purity, far surpassing anything he had ever felt in Primal Chaos City. Even though the black hole was only a few meters in size, it possessed such an extreme suction force that it naturally tore through the universe's protective membrane. This tier also created a massive gravitational pull connected directly to the chaotic air currents of the highest purity. Even the bodies of Universe Venerable fighters would vanish without a trace if they entered it. Looking back, Luofeng could finally see the true form of the original universe, the sanctuary of billions of races and the place we call home.
海中闯荡了，宇宙孕育一。
Alright, thanks for watching until the very end, and don't forget to keep supporting this channel by leaving a comment, dropping a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, bye!